When you look at the bones of a whale skeleton, you will find tiny, reduced pelvic bones with no hind limbs attached. In the flipper, a curious set of bones is visible. Bones that somewhat resemble those of the hands of land animals. We can see the digits encased in skin to form the flipper. These bone characteristics are present in every modern cetacean. They are evidence of the whale's distant, radically different, land-dwelling past. Cetacea is a group of aquatic mammals that includes 94 species of whales, dolphins, and porpoises. They are classified within the order Artiodactyla. That means cetaceans are most closely related to hippopotamus, ruminants, pigs, and camels. Which is not a surprise considering that whales and dolphins evolved from a deer-like animal. In this video, I'll trace back the evolutionary lineage of whales, from the ocean giants that we know of today, to their humble beginnings back on land in the Eocene epoch, 50 million years ago. Modern cetaceans are divided into two categories. The baleen whales, known as mysticeti, that includes the big ones that are colloquially referred as whales such as blue, humpback, and bowhead. Baleen whales have bristles made of keratin instead of teeth. This structure is called, baleen, used to filter out food from the water. Baleen whales are the biggest animals to have ever lived, bigger than dinosaurs. Blue whales can reach almost 30 meters in length and weigh close to 200,000 kilograms. This gigantism is directly related to their feeding mechanism and to the fact that they live in water, so gravity has less effect on their massive weight. The toothed whales, called odontoceti, includes basically all of the toothed cetaceans, sperm whales, orcas, dolphins, and porpoises. Toothed whales have well-developed senses, including sonar capabilities. Some members also display high levels of intelligence and interact in complex social behaviors. These two groups probably split from a common ancestor around 39 million years ago. Baleen whales started developing their bristles and became filter feeders in response to a large-scale change in ocean current and temperature that changes resource availability in the ocean, particularly the upsurge of krill populations. And toothed whales developed echolocation and utilized sonar to hunt prey, allowing them to dive deeper to search for food in low-light zones. The sonar adaptation appeared around 34 million years ago and distinguishes toothed whales from their early ancestors. The ancient whale lineage that gave rise to modern cetaceans is probably the Dorodontinae, a subfamily within the family Basilosauridae. What sets the Dorodontinae apart from the Basilosauridae is that they have a shorter body plan, more similar with modern cetaceans. The Basilosauridae had a long, serpentine body plan. The type species, Basilosaurus, could reach 18 meters long, and the largest species, known as Perucetus colossus, was reaching up to 20 meters in length. The Basilosauridae and Dorodontinae lived together in the Eocene around 41 to 34 million years ago. They look very much like modern cetaceans, and they were already fully aquatic, spending their entire lives in the open ocean, including when giving birth. While some descendants of the Dorodontinae evolved into modern cetaceans, all other basilosaurids became extinct. From the earlier lineage from which Basilosauridae evolved from, there was a group of semi-aquatic cetaceans called the Protocetidae. Some protocetids still occasionally went back to land, something like modern seals, to give birth and care for their young. However, other protocetids might have entirely left dry land, evidenced by their highly reduced pelvis. Their nasal openings were large and still halfway up the snout. The protocetids are the first cetaceans to spread to many continents. They had an almost global distribution. Whereas their ancestors, the Remingtonocetidae, were only confined to the Indian subcontinent. Remingtonocetids lived about 49 to 43 million years ago, and they've shown high dependence on the seas. Their nasal openings were still located at the tip of the snout, but their semicircular canals in their ears, that are used by mammals for sensing balance have decreased in size, indicating their shift to an aquatic lifestyle. The limbs of Remingtonocetids were short. They were more adapted to swimming than walking. Remingtonocetids inhabited shallow marine environments and have lost their dependency on freshwater. Their more ancient relatives, the Ambulocetidae, still show a certain degree of dependence on fresh water. Ambulocetids ingested a wide range of water with different degrees of salinity. They were able to tolerate a wide range of salt concentrations. Hence, they represent a transitional phase of cetacean ancestors from freshwater to marine habitats. The Ambulocetus, meaning walking whale, is probably the most famous ancient cetacean because it has a weird and awkward appearance. But honestly, it looks almost exactly like what you'd expect from a deer morphing to a whale. Ambulocetus was discovered in Pakistan. It inhabited tropical rainforests and coastal mangroves. Ambulocetidae is the earliest cetacean lineage that has developed a body plan that allowed it to be more mobile in water than on land. It is thought to have swum like a modern river otter, and on land it may have walked like a sea lion. But still, Ambulocetus was not yet a very efficient swimmer. They were ambush predators, similar to crocodiles. The earliest form of cetacean is known as the Pachycetidae. They lived around 50 million years ago in the early Eocene. Their fossils were first discovered in North Pakistan in 1979. They look nothing like modern whales. They also lived a very different lifestyle. Pachycetids are poor swimmers, as apparent from their leg morphology, but their bones are unusually thick. They lived around freshwater bodies and were predators. Pachycetids probably hunted land animals that approached the water source for drinking. It might have also hunted some aquatic organisms living in rivers. The defining features that allow us to classify Pachycetids as cetaceans are the structure of their ear bones and shape of the skull that are cetacean-like. According to a study, the teeth of Pachycetids also resemble those of fossil whales. If we trace the lineage further back, we'll find the Indohyus. It's no longer a cetacean, but rather a Rheoelidae, the closest sister group of Cetacea. The Indohyus fossil was first unearthed in Kashmir, India in 1971. It and the Pachycetus shared a common ancestor within the order Artiodactyla. Although it might not look like it, the Indohyus has already shown signs of adaptations to aquatic life, like dense limb bones that reduce buoyancy, which are similar to the adaptations found in modern aquatic mammals such as the hippos. The Indohyus was similar to a modern-day mouse deer or chafrotaine and might have used a similar survival strategy, diving into water and hiding under the surface for several minutes to avoid predators. And that is how whales and dolphins gradually evolved from a raccoon-sized land-dwelling animal to the aquatic giants that inhabit our oceans today. The start of transition from land to marine environments dates back to about 49 million years ago with the Ambulocetus. And fossil evidence suggests that the transition from land to fully marine was completed in just about 10 million years, with the presence of Basilosauridae some 40 million years ago. Since the late Eocene, the cetaceans have been completely independent from land. They have taken to the open seas, conquered it, and never looked back.